press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello dear students, welcome to Classroom of Physics. Today we shall discuss the question paper that you have already solved in the examination. Let us start with the question. A thin uniform rectangular plate of mass 2 kg is placed in xy plane as shown in the figure. The moment of inertia about x-axis is Ix is equal to 0.2 kg meter square, and moment of inertia about y-axis is Iy is equal to 0.3 kg meter square. The radius of gyration of the plate about the axis passing through O and perpendicular to plane of the plate is. Okay, well, this can be solved by making use of perpendicular axis theorem. See here, the plate is given. See, you have to find out what is moment of inertia about this axis, about the perpendicular axis, z axis. Okay, they have given what is the moment of inertia along x axis as well as y axis. So you know that Iz is equal to, using perpendicular axis theorem, I can write Ix plus Iy. See, they have given Ix is 0.2 kg meter square. This is 0.3 kg meter square. Therefore, this becomes 0.5 kg meter square. So you also know that general formula is Iz is equal to m into k square, where k is the radius of gyration. See, therefore, if you ask to calculate what is the radius of gyration, k is equal to root of Iz divided by m. See, here you have got Iz is equal to 0.5 and then mass is 2 kg. See, this is equal to root of 0.25. This is equal to 0.5. See, therefore, so you will find that 0.5 is the correct answer. 0.5 meter, or you can write 50 centimeter. 50 centimeter. Okay. Now let us move on to the next question. A wheel starting from rest gains an angular velocity of 10 radian per second after uniformly accelerated for 5 seconds. The total angle through which it has turned is, see here, see, this can be understood by considering angular velocity. See, they have given initial angular velocity as 0 radian per second, and afterwards, after 5 seconds, it is found to be 10 radian per second. See, they have given time t is equal to 5 seconds. See, therefore, they ask you to find out what is the angle. Theta is equal to, you just take average value of this, omega 1 plus omega 2 divided by 2 into t. So you are going to get this is 10 by 2 multiplied by 5. So this is 25 radian. So you will get 25 radian. Now we shall move on to the next question. The value of acceleration due to gravity at a height of 10 km from the surface of the earth is x. At what depth inside the earth is the value of acceleration due to gravity has the same value as x? The value of acceleration due to gravity at a height 10 km from the earth's surface they have given as x. at what depth inside the earth is the acceleration due to gravity has the same value as x. So now let us work out this. So you know that variation of acceleration due to gravity with altitude is given by gh is equal to 1 minus 2h divided by r, where r is the radius. And variation of acceleration due to gravity with depth is given by g into 1 minus d by r. See, where d stands for depth, here h stands for height. See, they have given acceleration due to gravity has the same value. See, they have given here, what is given, gh is equal to gd is equal to x, they have given. So now you please substitute that. 1 minus 2h by r is equal to g into 1 minus d by r. So when you compare these two, you are going to get d is equal to, when you simplify this, 2h. So it's a 2 into, what is h given, 10 kilometer. 10 kilometer. So therefore 20 kilometer. See, this tells you that at a depth of 20 kilometer, acceleration due to gravity has the same value as acceleration due to gravity at a height of 10 kilometer from the surface. Okay. Now we shall consider the next question. A particle is moving uniformly along a straight line as shown in the figure. During the motion of the particle from A to B, the angular momentum of the particle about O is. Okay. See, now we shall work out this. See, the particle is moving like this along a straight line. They have given this is A and this is B. See, you know that angular momentum is given by L is equal to m into v into r. See, here the particle is moving along a straight line. See, therefore, moving along the straight line with a uniform velocity, they have given uniformly, right? See, therefore, here m is constant, then v is constant. What is r? R is the perpendicular distance of the particle from the point O, right? See, here, if you imagine an axis passing through here, the perpendicular distance of this particle from this axis passing through O remains same, it doesn't change, right? See, therefore, m, v, r all are same. See, this tells you that angular momentum of the particle remains constant. Okay. When the particle moves in this direction, then angular momentum about the point O doesn't change, it remains constant. See, therefore, fourth option is correct. See, therefore, the fourth option is correct. Now we shall move on to the next option, next question. A satellite is orbiting close to Earth and has a kinetic energy K. The minimum extra kinetic energy required by it to just overcome the gravitation pull of the Earth. See, here a particular satellite is orbiting very close to the Earth, right? See, we shall take its velocity as orbital velocity. Okay. Orbital velocity is given by, v naught. Let me take, this is orbital velocity. Orbital velocity. And it has to overcome the gravitational pull. Escape velocity, v is escape velocity. So you know that escape velocity is given by root 2 times v naught. See, that is known to you. See, therefore, now initial kinetic energy is K is equal to half m v naught square. See, then final kinetic energy K dash, they ask you to find out what is the minimum kinetic energy. Therefore, K dash is equal to half m v square of m root 2 into v naught whole square. See, this comes out to be K dash is equal to, you will be getting 2 times half m v naught square. This is equal to 2K. See, therefore, the extra kinetic energy is given by 2K minus K. See, this gives you K. See, therefore, the kinetic energy, additional kinetic energy required is K to escape from the gravitational pull of the earth. Okay. Now we shall move on to the next question. Which of the following graphs correctly represents variation of G on the earth? So you know, see, there are 4 graphs given. The first graph is like this. And the second graph third graph, fourth graph. So variation of acceleration due to gravity with respect to distance. So they ask you to calculate which is the right graph which represents variation of acceleration due to gravity with respect to distance. Okay. So you know that so when you take acceleration due to gravity with respect to altitude, we can write GH is equal to G into R square divided by R plus H whole square. If I take R plus H as R plus H is equal to small r, I can write GH is equal to GR square by R square. See, this tells you that GH inversely proportional to R square. Okay, this is one thing. Then with respect to depth, we know that GD is equal to G into R minus D divided by R. Let we just take R minus D as R. See, therefore, GD is equal to G into small r divided by capital. This implies GD directly proportional to R. See, when you combine these two, see, the fourth graph appears to be relevant. Here, this is inside. R is equal to R. G directly proportional to R. See, here, G inversely proportional to 1 by R square. See, therefore, this graph is very much relevant. So, here Above the Earth's surface, acceleration due to gravity varies inversely as the square of the distance. Inside, acceleration due to gravity varies directly with respect to the distance, right? See, therefore, fourth graph is appears to be more relevant, say in the, see, which is very much relevant for this question. Which of the following graph correctly represents variation of g on the Earth? See, therefore, inside the Earth, it is directly proportional. Outside, it is inversely proportional to square of the distance. I hope you have followed this. Now, let us move on to next question. Mass m on the surface of the Earth is shifted to a target equal to the radius of the Earth. If r is the radius and m is the mass of the Earth, work done in this process is, see, let me make you to understand this. Let us consider Earth. See, here is the mass. Okay, see, this is Earth. See, what is the potential energy here? U1 is equal to minus gmm by r. Okay. So now you are shifting this object to some other height here from A to B, right? And what is this distance? This is also equal to r. See, therefore, what is the distance from the center? It becomes equal to 2r. So in this case, potential energy is equal to U2 is equal to minus gmm by 2r. So you know that work done is given by change in potential energy. See, therefore, work done is equal to delta U. So you are going to get gmm by 2r. This is U2 minus U1 minus of minus gmm by r. So you are going to get minus gmm by 2r. See, this is work done. See, but you know that acceleration due to gravity is given by g is equal to gm by r square. See, therefore, we can write gm by r as gm by r. This can be written as gr. See, therefore, when you rearrange this, you are going to get work done is equal to minus m into g into r divided by 2. See, therefore, work done in shifting the body of mass m from the surface to a height which is equal to radius of the Earth is given by W is equal to minus mgr divided by 2. Here, in negative sign indicates that work is done against the gravitational force of attraction. See, that's why it is negative. So, I hope you have followed this. Now, we shall take another interesting problem related to rigid body dynamics. Moment of inertia of a body about two perpendicular axes x and y in the plane of the lamina are 20 kg meter square and 25 kg meter square respectively. Its moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to the plane of the lamina and passing to the point of intersection of x and y axis. See, here we have a lamina. See, there are two axes. One is x axis, this is y axis, and this is z axis. Okay, it's just like our first problem. This can be solved using perpendicular axis theorem. You know that moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to the plane is equal to sum of moment of inertia about two axes which are mutually perpendicular, lying on the same plane, right? Lying on the same plane. They are, one is I-axis 20 kg meter square, another one 25 kg meter square. See, therefore, you are going to get 45 kg meter square. 45 kg meter square. So, therefore, first option is correct. First option is correct. Now, we shall move on to the next question. Okay, let me read out the question. The value of acceleration due to gravity at a depth of 1600 kilometer is equal to, see, they have given the radius. So now we shall consider variation of acceleration due to gravity with the depth is given by GD is equal to G into 1 minus D by R. Okay, G is 9.8. See, this is 1 minus D is 1600 divided by 6400 kilometer. This is the radius of the earth. See, therefore both are in kilometer, therefore they got cancelled. 9.8. See, then 1 minus, this is 1 by 4. 9.8 into 3 by 4. See, this will be around 7.35 meter per second square. So you are going to get 7.35 meter per second square. A body weighs 72 Newton on the surface of the earth. What is the gravitational force on it at a height equal to half the radius of the earth? Okay. A body weighs on the surface. On the surface, they have kept a body which weighs 72 Newton. So, what is the gravitational force on it at a height equal to half the radius of the earth? Okay. So now let me consider a body which is on the surface of the earth. Okay, this is the mass. So then you know that F is equal to m into g. So they have given us 72 Newton. And now you are taking this body to certain height. So you are to somewhere here. At some height h. Okay. So then what is the acceleration due to gravity? G dash is equal to G into 1 minus 2hr. I can take like this. G divided by, say, gr square by r plus h whole square. See, this can be written as G divided by 1 plus h by r whole square. It can be simplified like this. And they have given h is equal to, here h is equal to half of the radius, right? Half of the radius of the earth. See, therefore g dash comes out to be g divided by 1 plus r by 2 by r whole square, right? See, this becomes g into, this is 1 by 2, 1 by 2 plus 1, 3 by 2, 3 by 2 whole square. See, 4 by 9 times g, 4 by 9 times g. See, now the force becomes equal to m into g dash. So this is m into 4 by 9 times g. This is mg into 4 by 9. What is mg? 72 into 4 by 9. This becomes equal to 32 Newton. Therefore, at a height which is equal to half of the radius of the earth, the same body weighs 32 Newton. Initially it was Let me make you to 32 Newton. I hope you could see this. See, therefore, at a height which is equal to half of the radius, the same body weighs 32 Newton. Okay. Two particles of masses 5 kg and 10 kg respectively are attached to the two ends of a rigid rod of length 1 meter and negligible mass. The center of mass of the system from 5 kg is nearly at a distance of. Okay. So now we shall understand this to an example. See, these are the two masses. This is one is 5 kg, another one 10 kg. Okay. Now I just consider Cartesian coordinating system with 5 kg coinciding with the origin. Okay, here origin. See, this distance is this point. This is at 0 0, and this is at 1 0 coordinate. So you know that center of mass lies in between them is given by m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2. m1 is 5, x1 0 plus 10 into 1 divided by 5 plus 10. So you are going to get 10 by 15. Right? This comes out to be 0.67 meter or 67 centimeter. Okay. Say center of mass lies somewhere here. You just take it as somewhere here. Right? And from this the distance is xm and it is given by 67 centimeter. Four-point masses, each of mass m, are fixed at the corners of a square of side L. The square is rotating with a angular frequency omega about an axis passing through one of the corners of the square and parallel to its diagonal, as shown in the figure. The angular momentum of the square about this axis is, okay, here they have given 4 options, right? See, now we shall consider 4 masses, equal masses, which are forming a square, where they are at the vertices of a square, length L. And here this is the axis. This is the axis. If these two are L, what is this? This becomes equal to root 2 times L. Okay. Root 2 times L. And you know that this distance is L by root 2. You just take a Pythagoras theorem, right? Half of this diagonal bisect each other See, therefore, if this is this much is root to L, see this part becomes equal to, or this part, if you take this part, they are equal. Perpendicular distance, this is L by root 2. This is also L by root 2. See, now you just take total angular momentum. See, if I take this as A, B, C, D, okay, I becomes equal to IB plus IC plus ID. Here IB is equal to mass into, each of them are having mass m, mass into perpendicular distance L by root 2 whole square. You know that I is equal to mk square. See, this perpendicular distance is L by root 2, and IC is, this is also equals m into L by root 2 whole square, and this is ml square by 2, ml square by 2. And what is ID? ID is m into this particular distance, root 2 into L whole square. See, this is 2 ml square. See, therefore, I becomes equal to ml square by 2 plus ml square by 2 plus 2 ml square. So, you are going to get 3 ml square. This is I. They ask you to find out what is the angular momentum. You know that angular momentum is given by I into omega. Say I is 3 ml square, 3 ml square into omega, 3 ml square into omega. See, therefore, first option is correct. I hope you have got this point. See, we are considering this is the axis of rotation. About this axis, it is turning. See, that's what they have given. And there are 3 particles. See, it is not a solid plate. Okay, it is not a solid plate. The masses are at the corners. ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ನರ್ನಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ನ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಮಾಸು ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಿಂದ ಇರೋ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಈ ಮಾಸು ಅದರಿಂದ ಇರೋ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈ ಮಾಸು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗಿರೋ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಇಟ್? Because you know that moment of inertia I is given by mass multiplied by perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. See, that's why you will get the value like this, right? I hope you have appreciate this problem. So now we shall move on to next problem. A satellite is in an elliptical orbit around a planet P. It is observed that velocity of the satellite when it is farthest from the planet is 6 times less than when it is closest to the planet. The ratio of distance between the satellite and the planet at the closest and farthest point is, okay, see here we have sun somewhere here, right? Planet at certain distance, a farthest distance, this is planet. See, it's the nearest distance. This is also planet, same planet. See, this distance is R1. Let me take this distance as R2. This is R2, this is R1. Okay. So you know that when the satellite or a planet revolves around sun, when we consider a planet revolving around sun, its angular momentum remains constant, right? See, therefore, angular momentum of the planet L1 is equal to L2. So what is L1 here? L1 is given by mv v1 into r1. This is mv2 into r2. See, this is the planet of mass m, right? See, here speed is more, here speed is less. See, therefore I just consider the speed here as 6 into v, 6 times into r1 is equal to m into, here I just take the speed as v, the speed here is v, here speed is 6v, v into r. See, therefore r1 by r2 is equal to 1:6. It's given by 1:6. So because you know that the aerial velocity of the planet remains constant, not just angular momentum. So even the aerial velocity of the planet revolving around sun remains constant. This is according to Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Okay. The linear mass density of a thin rod AB of length L varies from A to B as lambda x is equal to lambda naught into 1 plus x by L, where x is the distance from A. If m is the mass of the rod, then its moment of inertia about an axis passing through A and perpendicular to the rod is. So let me consider a rod. Okay, a rod. This rod is of length L, mass m. Okay, and you have to find out what is the moment of inertia about this axis. See, for that I just consider a small mass dm. This is at a distance x from one end. Okay, see, we know that dm is equal to lambda x into dx. What is lambda x? Lambda x is mass per unit length multiplied by dx. Dm is equal to, see, if you want to know what is the total mass, 0 to m, dm is equal to 0 to L. Lambda x is given by lambda naught into 1 plus x by L into dx. Now you please integrate this. You will be getting total mass m, lambda naught is constant. See, this is integral of 0 to L 1 into dx plus 1 by L into x dx. See, on integration you are going to get, this is x plus x square by 2L. See, here you have to give limit from 0 to L. See, this becomes, when you give here L plus L square by 2L, 1L got cancelled. See, therefore, see, it is into lambda naught. So you are going to get 3 into lambda naught L divided by 2. So you are going to get m is equal to 3 into lambda naught L by 2, or this implies lambda naught is equal to 2m divided by 3L. Okay. Now let us take moment of inertia of this rod. Di is equal to moment of inertia di is equal to dm into x square, mass into perpendicular distance or radius of gyration, x square. See, what is this dm? See, you have to integrate this. Dm is given by lambda x lambda of x dx into x square. See, therefore, what is total moment of inertia? Integral from 0 to L, lambda L is lambda naught into 1 plus x by L into x square dx. You please simplify this. Lambda naught comes outside. So you are going to get integral of x square plus x cube by L into dx 0 to L. So when you integrate this, you are going to get this is x cube plus x cube by 3 plus x to the power of 4 by 4L 0 to L. So now you just simplify this. So this becomes equal to lambda naught. What is lambda naught here? Lambda naught is 2m by 3L. So this comes out to be L cube by 3 plus L cube by 4. Now you just simplify this. You are going to get 7 by 18 ml square. See, therefore, moment of inertia is given by 7 by 18 ml square. Please give the limit and simplify. On simplification, you just take it as a 12 LCM. Say 4 plus 3, 7. Then 2 by 12 becomes equal to 6, 6 into 3, 18. See, therefore, 7 by 18 ml square is the correct answer. Okay. Center of mass of the solid hemisphere of radius 8 centimeter is x meter from the center of the flat surface. Then the value of x in centimeter. See, here we have a hemisphere, solid hemisphere. Okay, this is completely solid. From this center, somewhere here we have center of mass. This is x. And we know that for solid hemisphere, x is equal to 3 by 8 r, where r is the radius of hemisphere. See, therefore, x is equal to 3 by 8. What is r given? R is 8 centimeter. See, therefore, this comes out to be 3 centimeter. See, therefore, x is equal to 3 centimeter. Okay. A wheel is rotating freely with an angular speed on a shaft. The moment of inertia of the wheel is I, and the moment of inertia of the shaft is negligible. If another wheel of moment of inertia 3I is initially at rest is suddenly coupled to the same shaft, the resultant frictional loss in kinetic energy of the system is. Okay. See here, so we have a the wheel, we have a wheel which is attached to the shaft, some shaft. This is the wheel. Okay, it is revolving like this. And what is the kinetic energy? Ki is equal to half I omega square. Half. See, later on, another wheel is coupled to this, to the same shaft. And what is its moment of inertia? 3I. So therefore, Kf becomes equal to half into I plus 3I. Now angular velocity changes, omega dash square, or this becomes equal to K final is half into 4I into omega dash square. See, you know that angular momentum is conserved. See, during the rotation, angular momentum is always conserved. Therefore, angular momentum initial is equal to angular momentum final. This is I into omega. This is 4I into omega dash. See, therefore, omega dash is equal to omega by 4. Now substitute here half into 4I omega by 4 whole square. See, this you are going to get 8I omega square. This is Kf. This is final moment of inertia. This is initial moment of inertia. They ask you to calculate what is the fractional loss. See, therefore, loss can be calculated by Ek initial. Let me consider here. K initial minus K final divided by K initial is equal to, this is 1 by 2 I omega square minus 1 by 8 I omega square divided by 1 by 2 I omega square. See, when you make simplification, say you are going to get how much? 3 by 4. This is half minus 1 by 8 divided by 1 by 2. Here LCM is 8. 3 by 4. See, therefore, fractional loss in the kinetic energy of this wheel is given by this 3 by 4. Or if they ask you to calculate percentage loss, it is 75%. 3 by 4 is the answer. Force F is equal to I cap. F is equal to I cap plus 2 into J cap plus 3 into K cap Newton acts at a point 4 into I cap plus 3 into J cap minus K cap meter. Then the magnitude of torque about the point I cap plus 2 into J cap plus K cap will be root x Newton meter. The value of x is, right? See, this can be calculated by considering the cross product. See, here F is I cap plus 2 into J cap plus 3 into K cap. And what is R? R is equal to R1 minus R2. See, this is 4 minus 1, 3. 3 into I cap, 3 minus 2, 1 into J cap, minus 1, minus 1, minus 2 into K cap. See, what is torque? Torque is equal to R cross F. This is equal to I cap, J cap, K cap. And this is 3, 1, minus 2. 1, 2, 3. See, now I do. See, you just take this, take these two. 3 plus 2. 2 into 2, 4. Minus J cap. 9 minus into minus plus 9 plus 2 plus k cap into 6 minus 1. See, therefore 7 into I cap minus 11 into j cap plus 5 into k cap. This is torque. Now you just calculate what is the magnitude of this torque. Root of 7 square plus minus 11 whole square plus 5 square. This is 49 plus 121 plus 25. See, this gives you 195. See, therefore x becomes equal to, this is equal to root x. They have given this is root x. So this implies x is equal to 195. 195 is the correct answer. Consider two uniform discs of same thickness and different radii. R1 is equal to R, R2 is equal to alpha R, made of the same material. If the ratio of their moments of inertia is I1 and I2 respectively about the axis, I1 is to I2 is 1 is to 16, the value of alpha is, right. So we know that moment of inertia of the disc of radius R is given by I is equal to mr square by 2. I can write mass is equal to volume into density. M is equal to volume into density. Volume is area into thickness. Density is rho. See, therefore pi r square t into rho r square by 2. Or I can write all this constant multiplied by r to the power of 4. This is I. See, therefore I directly proportional to R4. I1 is to I2 is equal to R1 by R2 whole to the power of 4. This is R by alpha R whole to the power of 4. This is 1 by R to the power of 4. What is this given? This is equal to 1 is to 16, which is equal to 1 by 2 to the power of 4. So therefore this implies alpha is equal to 2. The value of alpha is given by 2. Answer is 2. A body is moving in a low circular orbit about a planet of mass m and radius r. The radius of the orbit can be taken to be r itself. Then the ratio of speed of the body in the orbit to the escape velocity from the planet. So we know that there is a relation between orbital velocity and escape velocity, right? In the lower orbit, the orbital velocity is v0 and escape velocity is ve, and they are related as ve is equal to root 2 times v0. They ask you to find out what is the ratio of velocity of the planet in the nearest orbit to the escape velocity. This is becomes equal to 1 by root 2. It's given by, this is velocity, escape velocity. This is the velocity of the planet in the nearest orbit, right? They ask you to calculate what is the ratio of orbital velocity to the escape velocity. This becomes equal to 1 by root 2. A uniform sphere of mass 500 gram rolls without slipping on a plane horizontal surface with its center moving at a speed of 5 centimeters per second. Its kinetic energy. they ask you to find out what is the kinetic energy, right? See, this is the case of rolling motion. See, in case of a rolling motion, rolling without slipping, no? Center of mass, this is moving with a velocity v is equal to 5 centimeter per second, 5 centimeter per second, or this is equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter per second. So we know that total kinetic energy, see here there are two motions are there. One, it is rotational cum translational. See, wheel is rotating and center of mass moving along a straight line. See, therefore it is a rotation cum translation. Total kinetic energy is given by half m vcm square 1 plus k square by r square, where k is the radius of gyration. Here k stands for radius of gyration. And you know that it is given by what is its value? It's equal to for a sphere 2 by 5 r square. 2 by 5 r square. See, therefore, when you substitute here of what is the mass? Let me write down first vcm square 1 plus 2 by 5 r square by r square. R square got cancelled. Half into, this is 500 gram, means 0.5 kg. VCM is 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 whole square into 1 plus 2 by 5. So when you make simplification of this, so you are going to get, so you will be getting the answer. See, it will be around 0.5, this is 0.25, this is 25 into 10 raised to minus 4, 7 by 5, 1.25 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 7. Say 8.75 into 10 raised to minus 4. So you are going to get 8.75 into 10 raised to minus 4 joule. See, that is the answer. Okay. Okay. See, I hope you have understood all this concept clearly. So thank you very much for listening and seeing the discussion class. Okay. Wish you all the best for the forthcoming tests.